Hey, it's Dr. Eddie O'Connor. I make this video with some embarrassment and humility. Just finished reading this academic article, Racial Microaggressions in Everyday Life, Implications for Clinical Practice. And maybe because I grew up in the Bronx poor, maybe because I was a break dancer in the International Breakers crew and I was the only white guy, I have always thought that I didn't see color, for example, which turns out, as I've learned, is a microaggression. And so I want to take a minute here and just share with you some of my ignorance and offer apologies, maybe in an effort to educate as to what's going on and how blind we can be. Now, again, I'm reading this article thinking it's an academic task and that I would know this stuff and I would know better. And I learned that there's one in particular of three microaggressions that I'm particularly guilty of. There's microassault, microinsult, and microinvalidation. And so what that looks like is assuming that I know what it's like to be black or some other minority group, or that because I grew up in the Bronx or I had reverse discrimination against me that I would understand it. And that's not apparently, it turns out that that's completely wrong. That even the attempt to understand can actually erase the experience that the person who's trying to connect with me, the person of color or the minority group that's trying to connect with me, is trying to share something. And by trying to say, oh yeah, I get it, or, oh no, I don't do that, being overly defensive, not even knowing that that itself is an invalidation of their experience. It's like saying I'm immune to racism just because I have friends of color, or that your oppression is no different than mine, so we're the same, when clearly we're not. And saying that, I don't see color, or that all lives matter, well, yeah, that's true. What that does is it invalidates that we're also still different. I'm Irish. Somebody else may be African American. Somebody else may be of a different group. And then we're becoming blind and not seeing that everybody's an individual in that way. So to say that all lives matter, well, of course they do. That invalidates the Black Lives Matter point of it all. I think what scared me most about this article was that it was invisible. Like I didn't even know it. I didn't see it. Like it wasn't in my heart. And in so many other people who believe in equality, yet perpetuated the racism in these ways because of our ignorance. That we can't see. I guess I think of it this way. It's like we're fish and we're swimming in water. And maybe a black person is in, say, a bird flying in the air. And I'm like, oh, we're both animals. Like, I get it. No way. I only know the water, and I only know the water that I'm swimming in. And I can't know what it's like to fly in the air and be a bird. And that, assuming that I can know being a bird, is going to create so many problems because, well, for obvious reasons, if I'm a fish. But is there a way to actually listen to the bird, understand the bird, be humble that I can't know what it's like to be a bird while I'm swimming in the waters of a fish? And I think that's our challenge. To be honest, I'm not sure what the action step is of this video or this point. I just finished reading the article. But I do know it starts with humility, of challenging my own ignorance, of questioning, asking so many more questions, of assuming nothing, of doubting everything that I think, and pray and hope that people will be patient with me as I learn. And so here's the article. For my academic friends and people in professional practice, it's an academic journal, and I really encourage you to read it. I hope it makes the change that's necessary.